Aloha, everyone in another level living land. Welcome, welcome, welcome to a special another episode of Freedom Fridays. The whole journey and support and purpose of this show is to support you as the entrepreneur in achieving success and business and life harmony, because it really is two sides of the same coin. We never want to get so busy making a living that we forget to make a life. And it is 100% possible to work smarter, not harder, stress less, strengthen our relationships, and lead with much more energy, ease, and momentum. And the reason why I say this is a specifically a special episode is because we have an amazing guest. I want you to give a warm, another level living welcome to our special guest, Karl Fryburg. Karl, thank you so much for being here with us today.
I'm really thrilled and excited to be here to share everything that needs to be shared today.
Okay, that sounds good to me, and I'm sure it sounds good to everyone who's listening. So, ladies and gentlemen, Karl is going to be talking with us today about a really powerful topic. It's called From Tragedy to Triumph: How to Even Create New Goals. And let me tell you who Karl is. Okay, so Karl is a 40 plus year serial entrepreneur, self help, motivational speaker, trainer, and coach. And he is the author of 3 books currently, with more on in the pipeline. And Karl considers himself to be a career learner, and he believes in continued and never ending improvement. And having had many successes and failures in multi-level marketing, network marketing, real estate investing, and traditional businesses in his almost 62 years here on earth, Karl lives by the mantra, never give up. And he is the owner of a yacht electronics installation company, as well as working in the internet and social media marketing space with several programs and trainings that he is making available to his friends and followers. Oh, Karl, that's so amazing to be able to hear about your career and your transition. I'm so glad that you're going to share with us your wisdom today.
But wait, there's more. That's old. There's new stuff.
Okay,
There's always new stuff.
tell us about the new stuff before we get into it.
Well, well, no, I actually that's something that I probably should add is I've entered into the solar power space as well. I'm involved in a nationwide platform that sells residential solar, trying to help create a green footprint in the world and cut down on our carbon footprint. And it's just something that um, just it kind of reached out to me and grabbed onto me because I do have a passion about our planet and recycling and cutting down the carbon footprints and all that stuff. So at 61 and a half, I started another new business just about 6 months ago and launched the website. And that's just something else I do in my spare time.
Oh, nice. That's so good. We here at Another Level Living really love and appreciate even that appreciation for the earth and how to be able to have more harmony with it. And even as we're living in our everyday life. So that's something that's so powerful. Even recycling. I remember never recycling. And then I discovered recycling and I see somebody throw away a bottle. I'm like, oh, wait, let me take this bottle. Right. Okay. But what we're here for, and one of the things I want you to be able to share is first, why the message of tragedy to triumph, and share with us even your experiences and how we can be able to your wisdom on how we can be able to create those new goals and overcome those things that happen. So even share with us what has happened and what led you on this journey and the motivation for this topic today.
Sure. The motivation was kind of a little self-inflicted. Um, Let me just give you kind of the 60-second commercial about where we're heading today and the path that we're going to go down. It was a beautiful September Saturday morning, just a little over 4 years ago, where I was heading over to my neighbor's house, battery operated pole saw in hand because he had a big, large oak branch that was kind of hanging precariously in the backyard and half dead. And they were concerned about it. So me being the good neighbor that I am, I decided to go over there and take care of that for my buddy Steve while he was at work. Um, I was probably 12 feet away from the tree and 10 feet behind the tree when that branch left and came down. And it had kind of like a crook or an elbow in it. And the way that it hit the ground in the flash, the instant of life, the flash of a beam of light, whatever you want to call it, my life changed as I knew it. The branch actually took a really bad bounce and came back and lopped off my big toe on my right foot,
Mm.
right before my very eyes. This was about 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. So obviously got my wife, got in the car, got to the hospital, spent the night in the hospital where I had the toe removed the rest of the way the next morning.
Mm.
I am as you mentioned in the beginning, I am a serial entrepreneur. I have several different businesses. I have different streams of income, but I still trade hours for dollars like many of us do. If I'm not out there working in my electronics business or doing my other stuff, the money goes to zero. So also in the blink of an eye, my income went to zero.
Mm.
This was late September of 2019. So let's push things forward a little bit to a month later, second operation for skin grafting and taking care of things that didn't work out so good during the first operation. 4 months of just excruciating pain, very uncomfortable situation, lots of stress, lots of anxiety, lots of fear and loathing and financial disarray and everything you could possibly think of that could go on in your head was going on in my head.
Mm.
I am blessed and thankful that my darling wife of 35 years, well, 33 years today today's our anniversary. We've been together 35. She was full time at home working at her own job. So at least she still had her income. She still had money coming into the home, but I went to zero in the blink of an eye.
Wow.
So I'm so grateful and so thankful that she was here to really to take care of me. I mean, the first couple of months, I mean, even going to the bathroom was a challenge.
Mm.
So I kind of set myself up on the living room couch with a TV tray and my laptop, and instead of going right down the toilet, which is what most people would do, is I woke up every morning and I found something inspiring, motivational, educational to watch to set my mood for the day, to get me into a better place. Because again, I'm I'm the main breadwinner of the family. I handle all the bills, all the finances, all this, I carry it all on my shoulders so my wife can live her wonderful life the way she does and do what she does and not have to deal. There's no point in both people having to deal with all that stuff. So,
Right.
so of course, here comes all the problems that come with no income and no money. And about little more than 4 months later, let's just call it the second week of January 2020, I get back to work.
Oh, okay.
Now, the third week of January 2020, I believe everybody knows what happened then. And I don't like talking about the P word that much or COVID, but yes, the pandemic began and occurred.
Mm.
And so here, being in the yachting industry, it's really interesting that very wealthy people didn't want to catch COVID. So they all literally canceled all the jobs that we had planned and figured out. I'm literally just getting back to work, just getting to the point and understand with this kind of an injury, when I go from the dock onto a boat, as many times it's a leap of faith. Sometimes it's 3 feet above the dock, sometimes it's 3 feet
Mm.
below the dock. So it was a real challenge just to even get back to work.
Mm.
Um, so now here I am back on the couch again. It was a good thing because I was not pushing myself too hard in the struggle of getting my physical body back in shape again. But of course, the mental health was the biggest challenge. I mean, without without this being right, this doesn't get right.
Right.
You
Right.
gotta have your mind in the right place first. So again, here I am back on the couch. Now I'm surfing the internet. What can I do to make money at home so that this never happens to me again? It finds additional streams of income to assure that I don't put myself and my wife through this ever again.
Right.
So
Well, let me pause you there for one moment, right?
yes.
So I appreciate you sharing this journey of something that happened. It was just a regular Saturday, right? Like
Mhm.
not we weren't thinking anything was going to go wrong. Something unexpected happened and it really changed our world for for really for beyond, like it changed your whole world, but especially in that first part. And one of the things that I wanted to highlight that was a great strategy that you did that would be even beneficial for highlighting for the audience was that every day you got up, even with all of that, to find something to set your mindset kind of on the right day, something educational, something inspirational. And then it came to the point where, oh my gosh, okay, I'm ready to go back to work. And then all of a sudden, within a couple of weeks, the pandemic hit. And then it's like there was this part where you're like, okay, well, how can I be able to do something else, have additional streams of income? So therefore, this never happens again. That's so profound, even with the mantra that you shared on never giving up.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us, tell us more like about how tell us a little bit about even where you are now. How did what did that transition of okay, here's this new thing, here's this new venture. What did that journey look like for you?
Sure. One of the first things again is I was surfing for couch surfing actually. uh, for something else to do, I ran across a program on write books, 5,000 words, put them up on Amazon, make money. So first book, A Limb for a Limb, the 100-year-old oak tree that changed my life. So
Nice.
what I did was and you see it's not a big book. It's nice, quick, easy read, available on Amazon.com. Just look up Karl Fryburg. Uh, and so I literally told the story start to finish. And I actually published the book April 20th. I started it in mid-January and actually went live on Amazon April 20th. And something that I share, especially when I'm in this place, when I'm with people that, are looking for the hows and the whys and what do I do to overcome these issues and these challenges and these struggles, is writing this book was probably the most healing thing that I could have absolutely done for myself, because something that happens when you write about what you're challenged with. And I highly recommend this, and I share this with everybody. I highly recommend this for anybody who's going through any kind of a struggle, whether it's loss of a loved one, a divorce, medical issues, family issues, bullying. It doesn't, there's so many challenges out there for everybody nowadays. And what happens is, and you don't have to go live. You don't have to publish it. Even if you take it out in the backyard and start a campfire and burn it when you're done, that's okay too. Crumble it up, throw it in the garbage. Just do something to get it out of here, onto here, and away. And
Nice.
so what happened was, as you write a book, you go back and you read, and I punctuation. I misspelled that. This sentence running on, fix that. I thought, wait a minute, this happened in the middle of between here and here. Write that, then you read it again, then you write some more, then you read it again, then you fix it, then you read it again, then you read it again, and you read it again, and you read it again, and you read it again. Did I say and you read it again?
You did.
And by the time that happened, by April, when it went live on Amazon, 90% of my challenges were pretty much behind me, because I lived it and relived it over and over and over again. And it's part of my talks when I get on stages. It's certainly part of my sharing, like we're doing here right now, because it's just really, there's something that when the mind, and this goes into the whole goal setting thing as well, which is a whole nother, that's going to be a whole nother day with you, I'm sure. Um, the when you write something, so your mind is now looking at your hand holding the pen and the words are coming out on paper. There's a
Mhm.
whole nother connection that goes on between the mind and the body and the spirit and everything else as you're writing this. And again, it's very key in goal setting, because it's all about visualization. I don't want to start turning my my laptop all over the place, but this back here has the pictures of my future RV and my affirmations and all the things.
Nice.
So there's something to be said about writing. And again, it doesn't mean you have to share it with the world. You just need to get it out of your head, and it's one of the best ways to do it, in my opinion.
So good. So I want to just as you were talking, what was coming to me is that beautiful part about as you shared your story, as you got it out of you, out of it's like almost like it no longer had a hold. And then you were able to share it from this beautiful place of empowerment, right? Like and so for anyone who's going through tragedy, beyond like even the tragedies that Karl had mentioned, being able to express it, how we get it out when we hold it in, it still becomes this weight. And I love that you had talked about getting it out and actually putting it in a book. So whether you publish a book or not publish a book, the power of getting it out is something so profound. But that part even about sharing it and publishing it and producing it. So therefore, when other people read your story, a lot of times people can see themselves in aspects of your story. So there's this great power in sharing your story, which you highlighted. So that's awesome. So tell me, how does that support the moving forward into being able to create new goals, like and actually stepping into the new? Or so tell me a little bit about that, like as even the journey that you've had.
Sure. Um, of course, as we mentioned about the loss of income, et cetera, and now, what was 4 months became almost a year. I got some work on and off. Again, as a corporation, there's no unemployment compensation. I got my little PPP from the government, which, lasted about one rent check, so to speak, for lack of a better term. So here I am with this now approaching six figures of debt at 62, 61 years. Back then I was 60 at 60 years old. So when you're looking at something like that, you've got to figure out how to fix it. And I've always been, Brian Tracy is one of my all-time gurus. He's one of the best in goal setting and education and speaking on stage. I constantly have something of his that I'm reading, listening to, or learning about, just because he's always been one of my idols. And so I went down the realm of goal setting, and I literally started creating goals to start chopping away at this, as well as even simple things like I work on sport fishing yachts, and sport fishing yachts have these big towers that go
Mhm.
way up in the air. That there's a one level where you drive the boat, and then you climb up a ladder to the next level to drive the boat.
Wow.
Climbing up and down those tower legs was a serious challenge for me.
Mm.
Mostly because the railings are real small. So if you imagine your foot as you're stepping, it's literally the bar is right in the arch of your foot, so it's hyperextending all the toes and all the tendons and ligaments where big toe used to be.
Okay.
Um, Very painful. Took a lot of work. Again, took a lot of stamina and devotion that I'm going to beat this thing. I'm not going to lose my career over loss of a limb or loss of a toe. Um, so the goal setting kind of became kind of almost invented itself around me, and then I wrote Goal Setting Simplified, my
Nice.
next book.
Too.
Yes, and that is now a course and workbook that I offer, including one-on-one counseling, coaching with me as well. That's all part that's in my website and everything else.
Perfect. Perfect.
Um, and I'm still fighting that battle, trying to get that debt to go away.
Okay. Okay. And the power is in the progress. The power is in the process, right? That part about keep going and that energy. So you mentioned, I'm going to highlight some of the strategies that you had shared with us so far. One is about being able to seek and have that inspiration or what is the nuggets, or who are you supposed to listen to, or who are you supposed to connect with? Like, what is that motivation to be able to keep going? Then also writing out your story and stuff, to what happened, to be able to get it out. The other thing that you mentioned was creating a goal, right? To be able to figure out, okay, what is going to be the next step? Okay, this is the challenge. What's the goal to overcome this challenge? What else, what other strategies or tips can you share with us that can be able to support our listeners in overcoming the tragedies to going into more triumph from your experience that you have?
Um, that's a great question.
Okay.
There's so much going on, especially right now. I mean, everything in the last 2 years, no, almost no matter who you talk to, everybody's like, the world's gone completely crazy and everybody's nuts. There's more stress, there's more anger, there's more short fuses than it seems like there's ever been.
Yeah.
And this causes they're saying the whole mental health thing and voices like mine, people, the world is now craving for these stages. This may, to some people, this may seem like this is a Zoom or a StreamYard, but this is the stage. We are on a stage today and we're sharing our story and our knowledge. And it is so key. And the other thing that's interesting, and I just learned this at 10X Stages that I was at in Miami, which was a 2-day Grant Cardone sponsored event, but it's Pete Vargas, is that the masses where you used to, they all wanted to listen to the Tony Robinses and the Zig Ziglars and the Grant Cardones and all that. More and more people are starting to turn to, instead of these macro maniacs, is real people from real life with a real experience that want to share their story because it's more relatable. There's, I guarantee you, there's, in the process of people watching and listening to this now, today, next week, over the years to come, there's going to be people having aha moments and going, "Oh my God, that was me. Oh, I never thought about having how can I do this way?"
Yeah.
And when you're standing in front of a billionaire on stage that's got 27 rooms in his $30 million mansion and his fancy cars and all that, his jet airplanes, not that there's anything wrong with that. Don't shoot the messenger. It's much easier for people to anchor to you and me, to regular folk that have something more than regular to share.
Oh,
Something
oh,
before I do forget to interject with this is Avaya, Avaya is it's called Avaya Institute, and they have thousands of free videos, everything from spousal abuse to sexual abuse to victims of crime, to victims of injury, to victims of health. It is the biggest, most beautiful library of free help. And I think for $30 a year or $30 for life, you can get
nice.
all of their stuff. And I'm a firm believer and a preacher of this place because that's who I watched every morning.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You know that the part that you had talked about being relatable, right? So everyone who's listening, there's a power in your story. Like I always like to say, Karl, like, for those who are called for great things, they have to go through great things, and a lot of times they can be sucky, they can be like, what the heck is happening? But the triumph and the possibility and the resilience and the courage and the motivation that it creates, it's kind of like it pushes us into our calling, whatever that calling is in the message. I was talking with someone the other day and something happened. She lost her family member, and then all of a sudden her world got shook. And this is one of the things that we're having with all of the stuff that's going on. And we're here to tell you, so everyone who's listening, Karl and I are here to tell you that there is so much possibilities on the other side. And it is, you only have to be a step ahead of the people that you support. It's not like you have to have it all together. I think a lot of times with what we see on social media, that we're supposed to have all these things together. But it's just about taking those steps. And then it leads to another step. Just one book leads to another book. It literally becomes addicting in a beautiful way. That way there's power over the story and with the story. So someone who's going through it, even, you know, who may not have been as far as you, they're able to see the possibility of your story. Karl, that's just something that's so profound. I really appreciate you sharing that. Like, what would be one like big nugget or one thing that you would like to, as we're reflecting on this whole conversation, to be able to leave us with today with this message?
I think first and foremost is don't go it alone. I understand there's so many people, again, have so much in here that's creating chaos and challenge in their life. I don't like to use the words problems. Problems are just challenges or areas of concern. Um, and I understand that people, oh, I can't talk to my mother. I can't talk to my sister about this. I can't talk to my brother. Talk to a friend, talk to a stranger, talk to a professional, find somebody, call the 800 number. If it gets to that point, please call that 800 number. Find somebody that you can share your challenges with, even if they don't have an answer for you, even if they're just a sounding board and a set of ears to take it in. But what you'll find 9 times out of 10, and I find this with people that I chat with one-on-one, that they may have just that one little, it might just be one little locket key. It might be a big key to the city that you need to unlock something, but it might just be that there might just be that one little thing that this either stranger or somebody who's close to you. I don't recommend, don't go post it on Facebook, but if you have some Facebook friends that you're close with, excuse me, just social media, I shouldn't say the F word. If there's people that you're close to, I mean, I have wonderful relationships. Heather and I are creating a relationship with each other, even though we only know each other through the virtual world. Find those sets of ears. Reach out to somebody through a direct message and say, hey, I read something that clicked with me about something that you said about your divorce 3 years ago or whatever, and I'm challenged with this situation. I just had it happen with a friend who's going through prostate cancer.
Mm.
And it turns out another friend who is a social media friend who also does interviews. He and I were just having, because we catch up and do Zoom chats all the time just to keep up with each other, see what's going on. And he started sharing his journey. He's like, I don't tell a lot of people, but I feel like you're a friend. Now, we've only known each other for a couple of months.
Nice.
But I'm a friend because I've got a set of ears and I'm willing to listen and I'm willing to share wisdom. And so I connected the two of them with each other. They're literally within like 3 weeks apart of the same operation, the same problems with the key bag and all the things that they've got to go through. And he even said, oh my God, would he be willing to like come on my show and talk about this? Yes. And I said, if you allow him to promote his golf store while you're at it, I'm sure. And so this just happened kind of this week, but my friend Mike, who's my life friend from Pennsylvania, where I grew up, he was just so grateful when I called him and I said, look, I'm connecting the two of you to each other. You really should, you really should talk. And wow. Jeff felt the same way. So, yeah, find ears, find a sounding board. Find, if you can't make it all by writing it, find someone to share it with that will at least give you some love back and be compassionate and understanding. Whether they have an answer or not, it's still getting it out of here through the voice, getting it. The more times you do it, the better things get.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. It's beautiful because even in the experience that you shared with your friends, and it's like you were the connection. See, it's so beautiful because when we're able to let people be able to be the connection for us, and then we can even be able to be the connection for other people. But that part about not going the battle alone and having support is something that's so profound. And I'll add that even being able to use your wisdom in picking that person or that place, so therefore that person, whoever it is a beautiful safe space for you to be able to share. That's something that's also so important. Well, Karl, how can they find you? Like what how can they be able to get to know even more of you? Do you have something that you can be able to give the audience, so therefore they can get to know more about you and continue this journey on?
Yes, absolutely. We never got to round three, which
Ooh,
is the change book, which
nice.
those of you who are in the self-improvement, self-development, continued and never-ending improvement phases, that gentleman right there is Les Brown, one of the most sought after motivational speakers in the world. He writes the foreword for this book. These two gentlemen, Jim Britt and Jim Lutz, who are my partners in crime, for lack of a better term, partners in goodness and development, are both world class speakers, authors, trainers, big people. Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, these guys run with some super power hitters. And it's a book of 20 different authors,
Okay.
all sharing their one chapter, their story about what they do. And I
Awesome.
can't give you this beautiful hard copy of it, but if you email me at karlfryburg@gmail.com, that's KarlFryburg @gmail.com, and say, hey, I saw you on Heather's show and I'd love my copy of the book. I'll make sure to email you your own copy. There's 20 different amazing authors, amazing stories, things that we just talked about, the tragedy to triumph. I'm not the only one in here that has gone through things like that. There's homeless, divorce, there's, uh, narcissistic husband things. There's just an amazing amount of people in here. And this is volume number 19. There's actually
Nice.
20 of these out. Number 20 is on its way right
Oh my gosh, that's so
now.
amazing.
And
So
then karlfryburg.com is kind of the landing page to get you into my world, where you can, if you want to go deeper into goal setting and you want to have either training or you want to get your hands on the books or this book, that's all there in my back office. You just click through and it'll send you to wherever you need to get what you need.
awesome. Oh my gosh, Karl, thank you so much. We're going to make sure that we put those links in the show notes right after the call. So make sure you click on them to be able to get connected into Karl's world, as well as send him an email. So therefore you can get his chapter of that amazing book. That sounds so profound. And, the biggest takeaway that's coming from me from just hearing your wisdom, Karl, is that there's a great power in your story. And what I loved, even as you were sharing each one of your books, is like you took us on this journey of evolution. And if it's possible for you, you have inspired me and even hopefully the rest, I'm sure the rest of the audience, that there is so much beauty as you go through that transition and that transformation. And it just gets better and better, right? The more it creates like a ripple effect and a wave
Yes.
that is just by even what you've gone through. So thank you. Thank you so much for blessing us with your time and your presence on the stage. This has been absolutely amazing. Everyone who is listening, that sharing is caring. So if you connected with this message, go ahead and share it out. So therefore it gives someone else the gift of positivity of stepping into their triumph after tragedy. And also put what your biggest takeaway, your biggest wisdom and nugget that came to you today in the chat below. And we look forward to seeing you again next week on another episode of Freedom Fridays. Thank you so much. And bye, everyone.
Thank you for your time, everyone. And it was wonderful sharing with you. Have a great, safe holiday. Happy next year, prosperous 2024. And I'm sure we'll see each other again.
Yes, yes, and yay. Awesome, Karl. Thank you.